Hey guys, angry old man here. I just got back in from my run. Um, did like an LTH run on the dirt road. The wind and stuff kind of dried out all the mud and stuff from yesterday and the day before, so it wasn't completely horrible. There was a few puddles and stuff, but they were fairly easy to avoid. Most of the rough gravel, the big stuff that had been moved up by the grader, has been beat back down into the dirt, so it was a little less abusive on my ankles and my bottoms of my feet than it has been. I give a reasonable, respectable performance today for my LTH run. I really feel like over the last 2 months, after the marathon, where I was really sort of grinding, um, lots of long, slow miles, I've increased my intensity, and I feel like I've kind of made a little bit of a breakthrough where the intensity is matched with my ability to tolerate the discomfort. Um, Maybe I'm more comfortable being uncomfortable. I'm not real sure if that's the right way to say that. I hope you know what I mean. Anyway, I got it done. Excuse me. My heart rate, upper end of my threshold, did not break into like the 160s or anything. I managed to keep it under that, which um, I don't see a lot of value added in this sort of exercise of pushing myself up into, going to pass out phase. That is for other workouts. Well, a little time warp there into the future. So, anyway, I would like to extend a very happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. We ended up having a nice meal here this evening. Um, I'd like to say, happy Mother's Day to my mom, and of course to my lovely wife, and who has given me 4 daughters. Anyway, that being said, also congratulations to everybody who ran the 6 and 12 hour endurance race, the endurance headquarters race at Valley Falls. Great job to you guys. There were some pretty fantastic times considering the conditions out there. Um, it was not advantageous. Um, Yesterday was very hectic for us. I did not put a video up yesterday. One of my goats had a surprise baby. This was a goat that several months ago, if you have been watching my videos for a while, had contracted a condition called goat polio, which is not the disease polio, it is the symptoms of polio caused by a vitamin deficiency. Um, Typically, in goat herds, you will always have at least one goat who is at the bottom of the pecking order. You really have to watch and make sure they're not malnourished, or sometimes they will get minor um, nutritional issues. This was a little bit more serious, but we took care of it. However, she will have some lifelong issues because of polio, much like humans got when they got the disease, the polio disease. Even though this isn't the disease, the symptoms are very similar in goats. Anywho, she had a little baby yesterday, and it did not go well. We actually walked out to the barn right as she had the baby. I mean, the baby literally fell on the ground as I was climbing up over the fence to see what she was doing. And sure enough, the little baby laying there, her bag was not anywhere near developed enough for the baby to nurse or to have enough nutrition. I did try to express some colostrum into a bottle for the baby. It struggled for a little bit, but the mother wouldn't take it. Sometimes that happens due to inexperience of the dam. Sometimes it's just, the goats know that this is not going to end well, and they just, being herd animals, you are the weakest link, and they do not want to be, no matter how domesticated they get, they don't want to risk predators, and a defenseless little baby screaming and crying would just attract predators, so they would just abandon it and move along. That's just nature. We tried very hard for, I would say, at least 8 straight hours of working on the little baby goat. I did everything in my power. I used every trick that I'd ever used to try to save them. And I have pulled some babies. Actually, on our farm here, we have pulled some babies out of, frozen solid babies. And we have pulled them back and made them, help them heal. And they became productive members of the herd, maybe missing ears or a foot that didn't work quite right, but they led, healthy, long lives. But it was pretty much coming up for my bedtime, and I recognized that she was getting colder, no matter how warm I was trying to make her with an external heater. She wouldn't nurse at all, and I couldn't get anything. I didn't have anything small enough to get down into her stomach. My stomach tubes were a little too large, and so it was a futile effort there. And she ended up just not making it. But that happens on farms, I cannot complain because this year has been a very good year. It doesn't make it any easier when you lose one, but especially the babies. But I honestly can't complain. This has been the first year I haven't had a single bottle baby. It's also the first year where I had a set of triplets where we lost one baby out of the triplets, which is not unusual at all. And I only had one miscarriage among the herd. So not horrible, but not any easier. Yesterday I did my workout at the bridge on the treadmill. The weather was not great yesterday, but I wanted to do some very specific things on the treadmill, such as the Sprint 8 workouts. I did 3 of those, broken up with a 20-minute sort of tempo run. It was very productive. I really ramped the heart rate up on at least one of them, and I also was getting like some really good bursts of speed and kind of tickling those fast twitch muscles. Because my primary focus is marathoning, half marathons and marathons. I often find I don't dedicate enough time to speed work and looking, really how important to a marathoner is, the ability to run a really fast 200-meter sprint. But that being said, at the Newport News One City Marathon, I think my conditioning was hampered because I missed out on a lot of the sprint work, the 200-meter repeats, the 400-meter repeats. I basically had to decide what was more important and what I could do. And that being the case, I spent more time running long and slow. And at the end of the day, I ran a very long, slow marathon. Well, not slow, but certainly slower than I needed it to be. In any case, that's why I have started stepping up my speed game a little bit. And I am not where I want to be. I'm just not where I want to be yet. But I'm getting closer. I've probably got another 25 to 30 seconds on the mile I need to trim off over the course of at least a 10K on my one of my training roads that I use to be where I kind of want to be, where I am 100% sure that if I can do that and I can go out there and run 20 or 22 miles twice a week at a little bit slower pace, like 9-minute miles, like a 4-hour marathon pace, I think I've got the Boston qualifier in the bag for November, and that's where my focus is. That's why I'm not racing as much. One of the reasons I'm not racing as much, and is I'm really just hyper focused on some very specific training items, and I'm trying to hit some very specific markers. In any case, today I went out, and today was, I guess, theoretically the last day I could throw a bale of hay in the barn, if you to use a farming metaphor. So I went out there and I did a threshold run. I felt pretty good about it. I really did. I was hovering right on that magic line between threshold and zone 4, 3, 4, 5. I was right in the zone for those guys, and I was feeling pretty good. Cranked out just basically 6 miles, 10K, whatever, and got that out of the way. I felt really good after the run. Legs were responding about right. Still not quite topped out, but I'm also still suffering a little fatigue from yesterday's workout and of course the whole program. I will be recovering now and hopefully be ready to go next weekend at the Rim to Rim. I'm really excited about this race, seeing where I've come from the marathon to a 10K, and a fairly technical 10K at that. Anyway, that's all I got. Things are, again, this week are going to be very sporadic. Don't be shocked, even though I won't be running quite as much. I won't be doing a 60-mile week this week coming up. I've most of my weeks, the last several weeks, have been 60-mile weeks or pretty close to it. But again, this is the big season for the shop I work at, and I anticipate possibly being called in early and working late on some days, being called in early on other days. So things will be sporadic, things will be hectic, but definitely tune in at the end of the week on Sunday to see how things went at the Rim to Rim. Thanks, guys. I appreciate all your support, all the great comments, all the likes and things like that on YouTube, and of course on Facebook as well. You've been great this cycle. I want to see where I'm at, and then once I get done with this one, I'll let you know what we're doing next and start the next program. It's just building blocks, guys. Get out there, do your runs, get your miles in, whatever you're training for, just do your best. And as I always say, run angry, my friends.